Hello, everyone from the village of Bacarak and other villagers or curious onlookers. John Little here with, finally, we're going to start assembling the Bacarak puzzle. This is the original painting done by Ginger Cook that you guys did. This is hers, broken into pieces that I sent you. And then here is yours. Now, what we're going to do is we start exporting these out as a, what are they going out as? A 3x4? A 3x4 inch piece. And then I have Photoshop running here. And look over on the lower right, you can see I've made all the rows, little folders for the rows, so we can put the pieces into the rows. That's the goal. Now we're going to figure out or remember how we did this. So we will do that. Let's go back to this one. Let's just start with the first piece here. We're going to bring it up. And that is what we're working with. Let's go to edit mode. Clarity looks good. I believe we have made these all the right size during our cropping session. Do we need to do anything to this that you can see? Might be a little bright, but let's put it, let's check our contrast. That seems to be a little bit, as Ginger would say, a little wonky. Now we can do that levels. You can see down here in this area that I'm in the chart up here in the upper right-hand corner. See how much black area you have before you actually get to the actual image. So we need to tighten that up, and that will bring the blacks in. On this side, we're pretty much there. It looks like just a little bit for the highlights. Now we can do that. Again, this is an upgrade for me, and I have not played that much with this one. I know at one time, which might have been on the other computer, that we had a setting that we were using. I don't believe that worked all the time. All right, let's take a look at this and see what we've got. What's under details? Default low, high. So I'm used to just moving my, let's see if we move the shadows. See how it's moving the chart up there? So it wants the shadows almost all the way down, doesn't it? That might be a little much. Looks like about there. And indeed, that does look better. Highlight-wise, I think we're good. They might, if we go out the other way, which way's the chart going up? So we just need to go up just probably not even 0.1. And there we go. All right, I think that will work on this one. So now we need to do an export down here. Program we're using is called On One Photo Raw 2020. It's basically what we use for a lot of our photography when I go out shooting. And we want to put this in inches, and we want it to be an actual, see, this is a bigger image, which is nice, a 3x6. Is this going to, okay, we just need to have the width. Short edge is, this is 3x3 inches wide, 3x4, 6 by, yeah. All right, and that is where we want to save it. Let's see where that is. Oh, that's the current folder on my C drive. No, I probably got room on the C drive. Let me just pop down my other screen down here real quick and just see exactly where that is. It'll be a local save. Plenty of room on the drive. Village of Bacarak. Ah, they're all out there, and that's where all your guys' stuff. So let's do another folder Save to folder, choose. And we'll stay with the same folder, but we will put a subfolder in there. And Village of Bacarak. And new folder. Village pieces. Village finished pieces. Might even be better. So we want to go in there, select that folder. File name, we're going to leave it as it is, and we don't need any extra text on it, just current name. If memory serves me right, we renamed these. Yes, we did. Okay, so what we got? We got a 3-inch wide, a 300 DPI, PPI. That's pixels per inch. Doing the standard resizing or whatever we need to do. Nothing else, nothing else, nothing else. It's a PNG. That's the folder. And nothing after the export. And we don't need two current names. One current name will be more than enough. Export. So what we do is we'll take a quick look at that and make sure it did what we wanted to do. I'm just going to pop it down here for a second. Yes, it did. Let me just pop this up here for a second. See, there it is. I know it's big. It'll shrink back down. Because I have a 4K down below. My laptop's a 4K monitor and it resizes things. Really screwy things. All right, first one's done. Yahoo! We go back to browse. What we'll do is the first row and we'll put them all together. Use my arrow key, go to the next one. And I'm hoping that it's going to only take the purples, because we are in purple mode over here. I'm checking it down here at the bottom. We are in purple. That is what we want. Go to edit. Okay, you see, don't have any of the whites. Again, we're looking at our graph in the upper right corner. The blacks are pretty darn close. They just need a touch. So we'll take the shadows down just a little bit. When we take our highlights, we're going to have to come up. Not that much. About there. It looks like we're going to want to add a little saturation to this one probably. Oops, that's too much. Looks like you're only about to stop off, which is fine. So we'll go under the effects, add a filter, and we would like to use, what do we want to use? Matter of fact, we can probably see we have the enhancers over here. Let's just see what saturation, auto opacity. Okay, let's just kick that up just a couple notches here. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. We'll do that. Go down to export. All our settings should be saved. 3, yes, yes, none, yes. Export. Now, can I just use my arrow key and go to the next one in development mode? Of course I can. Do I know if it's purple though? I have to assume, but you know what happens when you assume something. Yes, it is purple. So we're going to go with this. All right. Looks pretty good graph-wise. Could be a little bit darker in the shadow areas. Not much. Other than that, I think we're good to go. Got good, good colors. Punch it maybe one little notch like we did the last one. Color enhancer. Saturation, we gave that about 5 points. Did it make a difference? Just a little bit. If you look at the blues, it kicked in the blues a little bit more. We'll go with that. Export that. And everything looks good there. Okay, next one. Okay, we have the grid lines on this. I don't know if we really care. Let's leave them in for now. We can probably go in there and strip those out if we need to, but right now we'll leave them alone. Up here, graphic-wise, in the chart, looks like we need a little bit more highlight area, just a touch. Shadows, let's take it down a little bit. And just, you look at your graph up there, but you also look at the image. Because again, you're still the artist on this stuff. Color balance, we look a little warm. So I'm going to come down here to temperature and let's cool it just a touch. That looks good. Saturation, let's kick it up one little notch. Which we might just do those over in Photoshop when we get it all done, because we're probably all going to need just a little punch up. That looks good. Export. And good. So this is going along rather smoothly. I think cropping it the first time through. Now this is the one we did have a little fuzzy graph before. My bad, I've not gotten a hold of this person asking to shoot it again. So we're going to take it like we've got right now. And I'm not even going to bother doing anything with it other than exporting it. Well, the chart's not too bad. Let's just take it up a little bit on the white side. Not that much. About there, take the shadows down just a touch. Now you can tell this is motion because you have double, what am I looking for? That's what we're looking for. Double canvas. You can see the canvas. So we'll try to get another one of those. Now this particular image, I believe, was a small image too, and I'm going to be enlarging it by doing this. So we will attempt it. We will attempt it for sure. Let me take a look at it down here real quick. That's not so bad. We'll see how it does. All right, so that's number 4, which is number 5, because we started at 0. Okay. All right. I'm looking at the previous piece. Don't have a lot of white at all in this one. A lot of cameras get fooled when you have a lot of white area. They're going to try to make it gray, which this one did. And I think what we're going to want to do with this is we're going to kick it up a little bit, bring up the highlights a little bit, kind of separate it out so we don't lose that. That's not bringing me up enough at all, though, is it? A little more. You don't want to burn out these areas. Let's go with that for now. In my second screen on the laptop itself, I'm seeing these pieces come in to the folder, and I have them as icon mode so I can tell what they look like. They're looking pretty good. Okay, now this one, great shot. We've got a lot of the texture, high resolution. Look at the detail in the brush strokes. That's like a ginger shot there. So what we're going to need to do with this, we're going to definitely have to add some saturation. We've got to add some darks to it. Take the shadows, we're going to have to go all the way down, for sure. Midtones, let's bring them down a skosh. Highlights, up just a little bit. I don't want to burn out the areas, but about there. Color-wise, I'm going to leave that alone. Effects, so let's give it a little bit more saturation, and I am thinking probably 10. And these are basically just reference number for this particular program. You use a different program as like a brush. It matters to the program you're using. It may not translate into another program. And 300, blah, 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 blah. And that was number 7. So we got one more. Okay. And let's see what we got here. Need to get the darks in there. Get some dark. A little bit of dark. A little bit of bright. Whoa, 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 not that much. I just want a little bit. Punch up the color just a wee bit. Yep. Okay, let's go with that. Again, we can come back and fine tune any of these. So export. This was number 7. How many got going across? Anybody remember? I don't either. Let's do one more. Looks like we're still on the same side, so it must be 8. That would be 9 pieces? No. This must be, I don't know, we'll see. Is this one upside down? Well, we can flip it once we're over yonder. Bring that over. Whoa. See how fast you can blow it out? I mean, you can just totally... You gotta be very careful. I mean, I wish you could fine tune some of these settings they give you. You can go with that. And a little punch. Okay, export. All right, let's see what we've got now. Is that the first row? That is 8. 0 through 8. Let's go one more. Now that looks like, where are we on that? I'm not sure. I think we're still on the same, still working on this first row. Develop, a touch here, a touch here. That's how your highlights and your shadows. Get the contrast. You got to have contrast. That's what your eyes like to see. Saturation-wise, we're going to leave it alone. Looks pretty good. Let's just leave that one go. Once we get it into the puzzle, then we decide if we want to start fine-tuning things. All right, let's see what we got on this particular piece. That is 0, 9. So we're still on the same row. Okay, so that is 10 across so far. I think it's 12 across. Do another one. That looks like that would go with that guy that we just did. Looks pretty good. Right out of the chute. Let's just darken it up just a touch. Doesn't need much either way. I mean, give it just a little saturation. Doesn't need much there. You want to match the other pieces. Looks good. Export that one. And export. All right, so it's been 18 minutes into our first one. My time goes by when you're having fun. Let's see if this is still the first row. Let's go one more. Nope, that's the second row. So it must be 11 pieces across. That doesn't sound right. Let's go back to browse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That is on that side. Okay, I'm curious enough to go over to Ginger's to look. Oh, I guess it is. So right. Because that really looked like, this piece here looked like it could go underneath that piece there. All right, so we have one more to go on this one. All right. And edit. Look fairly good. Let's just bring that down, the shadows just a touch. Get them a little bit richer. Highlights, you look good though. You don't want to burn this up anymore. You got a little bit of detail still in here. You don't want to lose that. I think we're good. And export. Okay. Now, we're going to go to Photoshop. I'm going to take all these pieces. I'm going to put them into this row right here, row number 1. So down to my other one here, I'm going to show you. Let me bring this window up so I can find it. Wink. All right, so I'm going to select all these guys and do Control A, Command A if you're on a Mac. And I'm just going to drop them into this folder. And it didn't do what I wanted to do at all. I just opened them all up. Okay, so that was a dream of mine. Why didn't that work? Let me think about this for a second. Because this program also got updated. See if the first one got in there. Nope. So none of them got in there. All right, so if I just do, so if I just have to drop them all on there, I guess that's what we're gonna have to do here. If I just drop them on here, they're all gonna be plopped in here. And they're gonna go one by one. Okay, we can work with that. That's gonna go up to this corner. Now where's the next one? Where do you think it went to? They're in here somewhere, they gotta be. Let's turn off the background. There they are. They're gonna bring them one at a time. I'm looking at the numbers, so we have 0 and 1. They're gonna bring them in order. That was 2. This is so cool. You can admit, this is the way to put a puzzle together. Oh, those look good there. Look at that. That's a good line up there. Now remember, we are looking at a full-fledged 36 by 24 inch piece of paper, or canvas, since that's what we're working with. That's a nice match too. This is not too bad, guys. For your first shot, look at that. Almost like we know what we're doing. Now you got to take all these, again over here on the lower right, I'm going to slide this up. I'm going to select all of these, and then that can go in that folder. And then I can close that folder. Now, if I wanted to, I can turn that row off. There we go. That is the first row, guys. Well done. We are well on our way. Let's save it. I think it's going to take about 20 minutes per row. This is 23. A few bugaboos, but we figured it out. So I think what we're going to do is I'll do, it looks like 8 rows. So hope you enjoyed this first one. First part is coming together nicely. Thanks, everybody. Any questions, comments, put them down below the video. If you want to participate in the puzzle project, communitypuzzleproject.com. You can find more information there. Not as much as I'd like to have up there, but we'll get more on there as we get going and things are starting to calm down. Bye, everyone.